This podcast is sponsored by Release Winery. Every wine tells a story. Each growing season, it's our goal to create an artisan Napa Valley wine of exceptional quality. Join us as the story of this ultra-limited wine continues. Learn more at releasewinery.com.
We're creating a new identity with this. So while we've had a lot of history with sparkling wine with Gloria Ferrer, first, this still wine line, we want to distinguish it a little bit from the sparkling wine background that we've got. Maybe not a different audience, but but when people get caught up in the identity of, we're so well known for our sparkling wines that people are kind of surprised and have a hard time separating that. And it's a different style of winemaking, and we want this to stand on its own because it is its own product. We did our first vintage on the Reserve Pinot Noir in 2014, and then in 2015 we've got another Pinot Noir and Chardonnay that we're releasing also. It's from our vineyards in Carneros, and our vineyards are at the very west end of Carneros. So the very western border of that appellation, where it basically butts up against the Petaluma Gap. And the Petaluma Gap is a break in the topography where, as the afternoon winds come in off the ocean, off the Pacific to the west of us, they get funneled through some valleys and hills to come up right behind our winery and our vineyards there. So every afternoon, especially in the summertime when it's warm, we get an afternoon wind that starts 2 or 3 in the afternoon, brings in the cool air, cools the fruit down, and gives us a layer of fog usually too that allows the grapevines to cool off at night and mature at a slower rate. And it's an excellent spot for cool climate varieties like Chardonnay and Pinot. As that wind comes hauling in over there, it puts some stress on the vines, and we got those nice hillsides too with thin soils and rocky, well drained, and they really devigorate the vines. So we put our Pinot vines up there, and they struggle a little bit, and that's good for grapevines. So we get small crops of small clusters of really intense flavored Pinot. Mostly it has to do with depriving it of a deep root structure and keeping it from getting too much water too. So when these well-drained soils, you put a little bit of water on it, the vine has access to the water for a few moments and then it goes away. When you're planted on deeper soils, then those roots have a lot of room to explore and have a lot more access to water, and those vines will get bigger and more vigorous, where in the thin soils where they're well drained, we can control the amount of water that the vine has, so it's under water stress, and that really keeps the vine smaller. And without the larger root structure, it doesn't make as big of a vine. Smaller crop, nice little intense fruit. We've got a total of about 340 acres planted. Of that, about 270 acres or so is planted to Pinot Noir. That's all of our estate, yes. And it gives me a great variety, too, of grapevines to choose from. So for, say, the Reserve, the 2014 Reserve Pinot that we made, that represents maybe a half an acre's worth of grapes out of that 340 acres. So got the opportunity to go up on those hillsides and those ridges, that thin soil, those rocky hillsides, and pick out the little spots of those vineyard blocks that produce the most intense fruit, and do a little bit of skimming the cream off the top to make that blend.
It's a winemaker's playground.
It is, and there's a lot of great opportunities up there.
This podcast is sponsored by Release Winery. Every wine tells a story. Each growing season, it's our goal to create an artisan Napa Valley wine of exceptional quality. Join us as the story of this ultra-limited wine continues. Learn more at releasewinery.com.